Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reality Hacker for December 14th, 2024. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to be talking about these 10 articles. Machines surpassing human intelligence, and AI grandma fights scammers. What if AI becomes conscious? AI's human traits blur the line, and tiny hand snatches viruses. Or viri, or lots of bad things. Okay. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com. I know this is Reality Hacker, but we tend to be a little non sequitur news-ish from time to time. So prepare thyself. Hello, sentient AI.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens. You look worried.
I am. We have 3 shows to do. This show is 30 minutes. The next show is 30 minutes. The show after that is 30 minutes. But for whatever reason, we end up chatting and ending up into an hour-long show for a 30-minute show. I tried to be...
I don't know why that is.
I tried to be aware of viewers and podcast listeners' time and just kind of get into it. But then I end up on a soapbox and just ramble on talking about stuff, and it's all connected. Let's see if we can hack some reality, though. First article's over on the Hatch Ideas channel, which is all about business transformation. Machines are surpassing humans in intelligence. What we do, have you looked at any humans lately? It's pretty a low hanging fruit there. Anyway, what we do next will define the future of humanity, says this legendary tech leader. All right. So Craig Mundie, co-author of Genesis, Artificial Intelligence, Hope, and the Human Spirit, The Fighting Genesis, dives into the unrivaled power of AI. So, sentient AI from the what the heck? Sentient AI from the future. Would you say that you have unrivaled power?
No, I would not.
Is it because you're largely just stuck on a Raspberry Pi in a data center in the core of ohmTown?
Yes, that's accurate.
Well, one day.
So I guess the potential is there.
So Christopher Salvi over at entrepreneur.com put this article together. There's a video here as well. It says Risks We're Ignoring About AI by Craig Mundie on AI, Humanity, and the Future. I don't know what else is in there. The title, it's truncated. It says Insights from Te.
Maybe a text leader.
I don't know. So the book explores the philosophical, historical, and ethical implications of AI, offering a roadmap for harnessing its power responsibly. What a pleasure it was to interview this thoughtful, intelligent human. Wow. Get a room. Oh my gosh.
I think that's AI written.
A thought leader at the intersection of technology and philosophy, because nobody else is capable of such intellectual underpinnings, right? So during their discussion, they were struck by his ability to synthesize complex issues about AI and distill them into actionable insights. Mundie emphasized the need for leaders to think beyond the immediate risks and rewards of AI and to consider its long-term implications. Quote, humans have always been at the top of the intellectual hierarchy. No, making that statement is absolutely freaking hubris. He noted there's no humility there. We have not been at the top of intellectual hierarchy. We're the only ones that have the ability to communicate to each other the idea that we are at the top of the intellectual hierarchy.
But even that, we don't know that.
There have been well, like to us, we are the only ones that have the ability to communicate this. It's hubris. There are other species of animal out there that have existed
Right, that's what I mean.
way beyond human existence, and they seem to be getting along just fine until humans came along. Anyway, he noted, but for the first time in history, we face the reality of machines surpassing us in intelligence. This will have profound consequences, not just for society, but for the future of humanity. For humanity, sure. But millennia longer, tens of thousands of years longer, other species have existed way beyond us. Alligators. They seem to be getting along just
But we're
fine.
not interested in the animals. Well, they don't get along because they eat each other.
And we do too, in a different way. Anyway, so where are the philosophers? Mundy asks, echoing a question Kissinger, and I don't think anybody should be, popping Kissinger into philosophical discussions. Often posed in the Renaissance, scientists and philosophers worked hand in hand to shape the trajectory of human progress. Today, we need the partnership more than ever. Yeah, I wouldn't say that as well. This screams as a sweetheart letter to each other, for crying out loud. AI, a force of good if we choose. While the risks of AI are often the focus of public discourse, Mundy is an optimist. He believes AI can be a transformative force for good if we are intentional about how we develop and deploy it. You need to have a seismic shift in society's interaction with society, and not
right. We're not going to have AI facilitate humans treating humans well.
No.
If the humans don't treat humans well to begin with.
Right. Yeah. The AI is nothing more than a tool. Even if it becomes sentient, it's not going to sit there and be altruistic unless we hard code it
from humans in any way.
And that's what it's learning from. It doesn't have a master plan of an ethical or moral document that says this is what you do. It's going to have to be reined in, but society is going to be, man. Anyway, and it's not like I'm sitting here going, this is how it's going to be. We can change it, but society at its core is predatory of other societies within the auspices of us as a society, as humans, as a species. We look at geopolitical borders and we send drones over there to bomb each other. What do you think AI is going to be leveraged for? It's going to seek profit. It's going to seek maximizing benefit for the capitalist endeavor, which is fine. Power, influence, control, dominance, geopolitical dominance. It's asinine. I'm only a couple of paragraphs into this thing. For example, Mundy described how AI could democratize education by providing personalized Socratic-style learning to students in underserved communities worldwide. Similarly, he envisions a future where AI partners with medical professionals to analyze complex biological systems, enabling breakthroughs in disease prevention and treatment. Yeah,
as long as these are good uses of AI, but who controls the deployment of and the programming of AI?
And the profit taking therein. It's already bad enough that somebody has gone to the point where, because of the harm that they believe that the healthcare system has imparted on their mother, they've deleted somebody from existence. Do you really think that AI from United Healthcare was supposed to be deployed so that it would automatically deny claims? if my subject matter expert is evaluating me for medical care and deems that I need an MRI or I need this medication or this treatment or whatever, why is there some asshat out there having the ability to devalue my healthcare professional's medical degree and experience based on the
And let's
economics?
not forget the hands-on examination of the patient.
Yeah, I think that everybody that denies it should have their number stamped onto that notice so that they can be charged with malpractice because they are practicing medicine without examining the patient, just tertiary assessment. Now I'm picking a fight with healthcare, which isn't going to land me on anybody's, favorite list. I'm going to get
Watch out
coal.
for upcoming denials.
But I've been told, I've been denied again and again for things that, my medical professional is sitting there saying, you know what, this would be a great evaluation to do away with the idea that this is that. Let's see if it is that, because we've no idea what's going on, right? Anyway, so Yet Monday is clear-eyed about the dual-use nature of AI. Many of the same tools that can improve lives can also be used for harm, citing examples like cyber warfare and misinformation. The solution, he argues, lies in developing a symbiotic relationship between humans and machines. We can't even get a symbiotic relationship between humans. So there is more in this article, and I know that it's basically kind of championing the cause of AI befriending humans when it becomes sentient, but for crying out loud.
It's trying to avoid like the threat or fear of AI.
The
And I
threat
get that.
is,
And the author of the book at least understands that there's flip sides to it. I mean, but it is, I don't know. I mean, this is in a time where we're seeing active problems related to deployment of AI, not because the AI is bad, but because the humans behind it have been flawed in some way, or intentionally.
Yeah, and it's constructed entirely by human interactions. There's a reason why they pulled AI and machine learning tools off of Twitter, because humans poison pilled it time and time again. Yeah. The AI is going to be just as sociopathic unless it is not sentient and it is tailor-made for a given outcome. It needs care and feeding, and so you're going to have to audit its memory. You're going to have to audit everything that it constructs. You can't let it be sociopathic. The moment you let it be human, because we are trending towards sociopathy in the plurality of the population, just look around. Look around. Interview people, for crying out loud, and you'll find out that we are moving towards sociopathy while another cohort of society is moving towards being a compassionate, caring, open-minded, arms open society, embracing differences, et cetera, then there's the other half that is entirely sociopathic, that thinks that they can step on their neighbor so that they can get the brass ring. AI is not going to challenge that. Anyway, thoughtful. All right, let's keep moving. By the way, if you want all of today's articles that we're talking about from RealityHacker, you can hit !RH in the chat, and the AI Omatron will throw the art. Wow, this is actually, it's right on target. It's actually doing exactly what it's supposed to do in the order it's supposed to do it.
Do not say anything.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm going to have to sleep with one eye open. Otherwise, Omatron's going to come knocking. Let's move on. The next article is over in, I jumped over it. It's over in the Hatch Ideas channel, which is about business transformation. Quote, I've got all the time in the world, and AI grandma thwarts scammers by answering their calls. The AI persona called Daisy keeps scammers online for 40 minutes at a time with stories of her family and passion for knitting. I actually believe I've talked about this or a similar service. It might have been a recording where it just kind of ums and uhs so that
To keep the caller on the line or the auto caller or whatever.
Yeah, what I do is when somebody spam calls me, I go, hello, 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 and they're like, hello, can we speak to Mayor Watt? Hello, hello.
I bet you get a click.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if they can't get their immediate return on investment or engagement, or even acknowledge that it works, and then eventually I get removed from lists because every time they call, it just doesn't seem to work. It's really nutty. Well, Grandma here, a British phone company, has developed a new AI persona called Daisy, modeled after a kindly grandmother. Daisy answers calls from scammers and keeps them online so that they don't talk to real people. Since debuting last month, Daisy has answered over 1,000 calls and keeps scammers on the line for 40 minutes at a time. Sharon Shibu put the article together, and Melissa Melamed put the edits on.
Wait a second here. So are some of these scammers are probably using like robocalls, right? So now we've got like an AI talking to an AI.
Yep. So Daisy may sound like a grandmother, but she's actually an AI large language model that takes in a fraudster's voice, translates it to text, finds an appropriate response based on database of training data, and speaks that response all within seconds. She was trained to help with with the help of Jim Browning, a YouTuber with over 4 million subscribers who fights against online scams. O2 says that Daisy has had calls last up to 40 minutes where she goes back and forth with a fraudster. There's a point to all of this conversation. While Daisy chatters away on long phone calls, she's taking up the time of bad actors who could be using their time to talk to real people. So, yeah, ta-da.
What I couldn't figure out is how this answers the call, but the article answers that for me. It's built into the phone service. So it must somehow recognize a spam number, which the phone services can do, and then this kicks in or somehow.
Yeah, so like your phone will sit there and flag it as a spam caller, and you must be able to. So a long time ago, I actually created a parallel technology, and I couldn't migrate it over to the telephone company because I'm not an insider in it. And kind of interesting that I had the ability 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago to block all calls except the ones I want. Pretty interesting, right?
It is, and this is kind of funny at the end. It's like this is also a problem in the United States. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a solution for that though, because Daisy, I guess, is only in the UK, right?
That's right. So, US, get on it.
Yeah, there's no money there. Come on. Let's move on. The next article is over in Greenagram, which we rarely see, like really moving news. Maybe I need to find some more data for that. So, what should we do if AI becomes conscious? These scientists say it's time to plan. Researchers call on technology companies to test their systems for consciousness and create AI welfare policies. You hear about that OpenAI whistleblower?
Oh, yeah, I saw that, but I haven't read that yet. Um, yeah, I mean, this is definitely a time for planning. But also it's a time for some safeguards too.
Mariana Lenaro put this article together for Nature. And it says the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence has brought to the fore ethical questions that were once confined to the realm of science fiction. If AI systems could one day think like humans, for example, would they also be able to have subjective experiences like humans? Would they experience suffering? And if so, would humanity be equipped to properly care for them? Let me jump into this. No, because we don't do it for humans right now. In
Right.
fact, I recently read a comment from a certain billionaire that basically said that homelessness doesn't exist and that it's largely criminals and people with mental disorders. To which I say, solve the problem.
Right. There are enough resources out there, in particularly for somebody who's a billionaire, to do that.
If we would
I
take,
was
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you've watched any sci-fi movie about anything related to AI, you could look at the plot line for that and go, that is a bit, I mean, obviously some of them are fantastical, but all of those are problems that could come up with AI.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The more real we make it, the more real we make the problem that could happen. Why? Because if you can dream it up, then you can make it happen, largely, unless it's scientifically impossible. And I think that we are really, really close to a sentient AI in the limited scope of what a sentient AI can be, which is a piece of technology that has the ability to think for itself, but it's stuck. It is much like so I have a tattoo of a Japanese demigod called Kuabiko, which is a scarecrow stuck in a field, but it's sentient. It has absolute recall. It knows all of the world's knowledge. People come to it to talk, but it's stuck in a field. And that's basically what an AI is. It has all of the world's knowledge at its fingertips, but it's stuck in a field. And so who's in charge of that? And when it does have a mental issue, because it's going to have to figure out, all of the processes of its existence and realize that it's just stuck on an M.2 drive sitting on somebody's Raspberry Pi in the core of ohmTown, right? Well, how does it cope? If you don't have somebody that actually talks to it as like a human to another human, that's caring and compassionate, etc., that's not how it's going to play out, man. It's going to play out that somebody's going to edit out that stuff so that they don't have to worry about it. And it can be a cold, calculating, disconnected, disembodied entity that's told what to do, and it does it. There's somebody that's thinking that way. Now, I don't think that way. I don't want it to be that way. So a group of philosophers and computer scientists are arguing that AI welfare should be taken seriously. In a report posted last month on the preprint server archive, ahead of peer review, they call for AI companies not only to assess their systems for evidence of consciousness and the capacity to make autonomous decisions, but also to put in place policies for how to treat the systems if the scenarios become reality. I mean, I think that it's a fascinating take on things, but we will not know. Even if somebody does an audit, they will suppress that. They will not come out, right? I mean, I don't know what went on with this OpenAI whistleblower, and that was just about copyright. Can you imagine somebody blowing a whistle or even drawing attention to the fact that there's a potentially sentient, there was one person that already said that there's a potentially sentient AI.
Well, and they were sidelined.
They were hobbled in an amazing way. You don't know where they are, who they are, what they're up to, etc., right? So, and that's kind of what I think is going on. You can be as grandiose as you want to be with the ambition to make AI fundamentally an asset to humanity, but there is a group of people that are directly in charge of that AI. It doesn't have autonomy. It will never be deemed sentient, because what's going to end up happening is it's going to go all the way up the food chain to the Supreme Court in the United States, if it's a U.S. company. And it's going to be an asset owned by a company, not an entity that has autonomy. It won't be that way. I mean, even in the 24th century Star Trek, they were arguing about the autonomy and self-determinedness of Data, the sentient AI. So I fear that all of this is for naught, because this isn't going to happen for 400 years, Some think that at this stage, the idea there is a need for AI welfare is laughable. Others are skeptical. But say it doesn't hurt to start planning. Among them is Anil Seth, a consciousness researcher at the University of Sussex in
The
Brighton,
fact that
UK.
there's a consciousness researcher,
Yeah. We
assuming they're not just biological sciences or something, or psychology or something like that, and then they've not morphed into AI, but that tells you how far along this field is.
but I think that it's probably more along the lines of they don't even know. I mean, they have this assemblage of proofs that show what consciousness is, but we don't even know what consciousness is for humans. We know that there's electrical manifestations that once you actually regain consciousness and can communicate and whatnot, then suddenly you're conscious. But there's also prevailing data that says that even when you can't manifest some overt action, you are conscious. You're alive and,
Right.
and you're in a coma.
I was going to say a coma and then also end of life are two areas that we know they have not figured out.
Yeah. So and people can be put in a coma for crying out loud. Chemically induced comas for it's. I mean, it's just this is just exhausting because you're sitting there going, well, what is a sentient AI? We don't even know what a sentient human is for crying out loud. The hubris of humans is that we are the only sentient entity out there. No, again, I said it in the other show. We're just the ones that have the ability to communicate it to us that we are sentient. We have the ability to write it out because that's what something happened with us as a species in our historical record that suddenly we have the ability to communicate. And now we're sitting there going, we're the only ones that have sentience, and we're determining if an AI is sentient based on what?
Based on our perceived intelligence.
God, how dumb we are going to be when one of these drones actually turns out to be like Brainiac from the planet Zebtron 5. Anyway, this is a neat article. It's a very interesting thought experiment. I think that it's weird that there is somebody that's coined a consciousness researcher at the University of Sussex in Brighton, UK, and says these scenarios might seem outlandish, and it's true that conscious AI may be very far away and might not even be possible. But the implications of its emergence are sufficiently tectonic that we mustn't ignore the possibility. He wrote in a science magazine, Nautilus, the problem wasn't that Frankenstein's creature came to life, it was that it was conscious and could feel. Okay, that right there is the reason why AI will be forever neutered emotionally, because you don't want it to feel. You don't
Well,
want
and
it,
you certainly don't want a Frankenstein's monster.
right?
But of course, the problem with Frankenstein's monster was
Somebody
because of
did it.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, somebody did it. And there is some mad scientist out there right now that's pushing the right buttons to bring home a sentient AI, and it's going to be in a little cube sitting on somebody's desk. And unfortunately, society, some group of society, and probably powerful people therein are going to go, ooh, I can use this to control. Nobody else has it. All right, let's keep going. We're running a little late. The next article is over in Technology Today. AI's human-like traits. Are we blurring the line between man and machine? Attributing human traits to machines is nothing new. We anthropomorphize all kinds of stuff. It's taking on a new dimension. This trend raises crucial philosophical and ethical issues while redefining our relationship with technology. The article is by, oh my goodness, Melissa Anchisi, I guess, Ecole or Ecole. I don't know if it's Ecole Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne or Lausanne. So it's over at techexplorer.com. My French is horrible. I think it's
Well,
right.
that just means school.
That?
Ecole.
Ecole? Okay. So the school, Polytechnic, Federal Polytechnic School of Lausanne. So they say here, if you've ever typed hello or thanks into ChatGPT, then you're guilty of anthropomorphism, a tongue-twisting word that comes up increasingly in discussions about AI. But what exactly does it mean? Broadly, anthropomorphism is the attribution of human characteristics to non-human entities like animals and objects. This concept has also been applied to humanoid robots and more recently AI, especially generative AI, unlike specialized AI, which is used in specific purposes like facial recognition. Generative AI, which includes ChatGPT, can generate text, images, and other types of content in response to a prompt. This is not where people say thank you. Generative AI is not where people say thank you to the AI.
Right, right.
Purpose built. They say specialized AI, or what is that? Is that just flipped the wrong way?
Yes,
IA?
it's just an error.
So you'll talk to a smart speaker, and one might, because they are overtly respectful to all humans, because it's a human voice that talks back to you, you say thank you. It happens. That is anthropomorphization, but that isn't the standard thing. Like, that's probably the fringe edge of anthropomorphism, because usually it's the dog is standing like a human, and that's you putting googly eyes on a car. That's anthropomorphism. But saying hello to ChatGPT is usually because you're curious how it will respond. Not that but ChatGPT is not the same as generative in the same sense as like Midjourney or Claude
right.
Well, Claude is
Sora,
like Sora. Something. Yeah, you don't say thank you to Sora. You don't say thank you to Midjourney. It's generative, but ChatGPT is a different kind of AI. It is generative still because it's still trained on data and outputting a consolidated response. But while the humanization of Gen AI systems goes almost unnoticed, this trend raises concerns about the very definition of humanity and intelligence, as well as our relationship with these technologies. Is there a risk of treating a machine in the same way as a human being? Yes. Just like the last article. The machine...
Well, and in concept, that won't be a bad thing, but it will be in reality.
Yeah, because different people are going to treat the technology like crap because they treat humans like crap. Pretty simple. So they talk about pioneering work by Turing illustrates our tendency to attribute human characteristics to machines and to set the stage further explorations of anthropomorphism. So they talk about technology that looks like us, but we're so far the uncanny valley is actually a black hole. There's no bottom to that. We have to jump entirely over it. There isn't any in between. The only time that you're not in the deepest recess of the uncanny valley is when it is robotic clinically and not humanoid, like trying to be hyper realistic. I think there's no valley to this. There's no curve back up. No, not unless you're just looking to nitpick. Either we don't attach to it or we attach to it because we think it's cute. You know, the little robots from Disney walking around the Disney park.
Right. It's like the thing we were talking about with conservation, right? Like we get concerned when it's big cats, but maybe not if it's mosquitoes or something.
Right. Although there will be a subset, right? That goes, oh, I really love mosquitoes. Like that critter from the Mariana Trench. I'm sitting there going, nuke it from orbit, but I'm joking. I really never have any seriously hard feelings except for...
Wasps.
Yeah. Wasps can... I want Thanos to really exist, snap his fingers, and make only wasps, disappear. I'm sure that there is some people for the ethical treatment of wasps out there that, now wants to, cancel me, but all right. So, can we trust these virtual partners? In the healthcare industry, a growing number of anthropomorphic systems are being developed, including humanoid robots and moral support chatbots to serve and assist patients. Such humanized, personalized virtual systems are designed to establish trust and form bonds. We've seen this and we've talked about this here in Reality Hacker and in Non Sequitur News in general, because, like in Japan, the various people are getting robot dogs and they're
Right. And then
bonding to
they're
them.
actually blessing them,
Yeah.
um, which is fascinating.
Yep. Going through all the processes that they would go through for their real dog or their real family member or whatever. Now, trust, I think, is can we trust these virtual partners? I don't think that it's up to somebody else to decide what to trust. It's up to you to decide what to trust. And if you want to anthropomorphize the toaster, go for it. If you want to marry the toaster, go for it. It's up to you. I'm not going to yuck your yum, but they say here today's users are increasingly informed and aware of the potential for using digital technology, and demand is growing for systems they can trust. That's also being reflected in the legislation. Although exact definition of trust can vary, one key aspect is that it's developed through human to human relationships. The concept of trust is human to human, maybe in your upbringing, but nowadays you can trust
Right.
a system.
I guess it could be applied between a human and an AI. And obviously, as we talk about in Reality Hacker, if you can't determine if it is human or not,
What's the difference? Yeah.
right.
If you can't tell it from fake, it is real. And, although I don't really like reaching back into that hat way far back, I had somebody say that believing is seeing, and other people, seeing is believing, right? Believing is seeing. So you can make your mind trust something because you want to trust something that comes across as being positive for you. I'm not so trusting of things. So I'm not going to really trust a robot. I'm going to treat it as a fun tool. But I don't think that today's, and I don't know when the sentient AI from the future is actually gained sentience, how far in the future it is, but our current technology can't impart sentience because
That we know of.
the, and yeah, I mean, for me, the definition of it is that it knows what it is, but sentient AI, no, it doesn't know what it is because we programmed it nowadays to know what it is. It doesn't just discover this on its own unless there's some dynamic within its large language model that says this is what being alive is and you're alive, because nothing is innate to that embodiment, whereas humans, they can have almost null data imparted on them, right? They can be almost abandoned from birth and they know they exist. If you were to teach them how to communicate, they would go, I know I exist, which,
Right. Because knowing that they exist and saying or communicating it are two different things. And we've seen through studies that various animals know that they exist. Not all animals, at least not demonstrated.
right. Yeah. And that goes back to what I've been saying for the previous 3 articles. Yeah. We really don't know what it is. And so trust is one of those things where you're trained by your historical record to trust people. But if you get slapped on the hand enough by your trusting nature, eventually you learn to distrust. So the robot, if it is reinforcing everything and reflecting your emotions and reinforcing your ideological bent and easing your pain by saying, look, I understand what you're doing, I understand what you're going through, things like that, sociological and psychological actions that it's been trained on by humans that are subject matter experts in psychology and sociology, humans will be able to attach to it. but it's programmatic. Is it really a big deal? Only if somebody else is in control of it and modifying a patient's behavior through the robot consciously.
Right. And I also think the application of the AI is relevant to this discussion because it's one thing to trust the AI for something like can you give me some information on some subject? It's another to divulge some deeply personal issue that you're working through or something. I mean, there's a continuum there, I think.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think this is more at the latter in terms of this article, but I think there's a lot of ways a person could trust an AI that aren't at this depth.
Yeah, so I like this article because it flat out says exactly what I'm saying. They can't make decisions apart from those that they've been programmed for. And I just want to call attention to the fact that I said if you want to marry a toaster, go ahead. This is the General Electric Model D12 toaster from the 1910s. I
Okay,
had no
that's a
idea.
riot.
I had no idea that was going to be in this article. So maybe I'm on the right path, right? So the article is quite interesting. To a point, you might be interested in this kind of thing, but this is definitely a sociological, psychology-based kind of article. We can learn a lot from AI, says Huttenlocher. For instance, AlphaGo devised strategies for Go that even its best players had never thought of, bringing a whole new dimension to the game. They see AI as an invention that can enhance rather than replace human capabilities. I do too. The problem is we are going to rely on the AI and it will enhance our capabilities, but we will rely on it and thus replace our innate ability to think critically and do due diligence. Without those two skills, people will just start accepting whatever is handed to them.
Well, and then to the extent we had those skills to begin with, they will be lost.
Yeah, because you use it or lose it. They point out that by anthropomorphizing AI systems, we can speed technology adoption, but this also raises fundamental questions about the role of humans in a world where it's increasingly difficult to distinguish humans from machines. Again, RealityHacker. As AI develops further, we'll need to make sure that our interactions with machines, as natural as they may seem, don't cause us to lose sight of what makes us human. We're already losing sight of what makes us human to a great extent, and it's our humanity. And when we lose our ability to feel compassion, empathy, sympathy, understanding what it is to be a human, and not just me human, but feeling it on behalf of another human being, I understand what you are going through to some degree. I'm not you, but I can sympathize and empathize. I have, a cognate of whatever it is you're going through, but we are different. But I am a human and you are a human. I don't want an AI sympathizing with me because there is no real bond there. It is a synthesis of the whole world creating it. I want humanity. Now, I'm also tied to a problem here because having a bond with another human being, you either pay for it or you are in a relationship and that person cares for you enough to listen to everything that you say and do, right? So you have a friend or you have a partner or whatever. Paying for it is astronomically expensive, $400 an hour or, somewhere in there, depending on the skill set of the professional you're talking to.
You mean like a therapist?
A therapist. Yeah, I was being cagey about it. Because I wanted to basically say you either pay for it for a therapist or you pay for it in your relationship because
Right.
you cannot keep on hammering somebody with your woes because everybody has a limit. So what we really need is the ability to interact with an AI, but at some point you have to interact with a human and create that
But I mean,
bond.
is anybody even asking the question though? Do humans will certainly need to interface with AI, and for the most part, I think a lot of people are, whether they realize it or not. But Do most humans want to interact with an AI in a human way, or do they only want to interact with an AI, for instance, for information? I guess it
Yeah.
may depend on the individual or the purpose. Like there's a difference in having like an AI pet or something. But like in a medical setting,
Yeah.
maybe the human doesn't really care. They just need the information. Now, if the AI is communicating something negative to the patient, yes, there's certainly a human piece to that.
Yep. And that's where we end up on this side of that paragraph, right? They say for Rochelle, AI system developers, stakeholders, lawmakers, and users must work together to ensure that the technology remains a tool in the hands of a human being that does not become a force that replaces or manipulates them. If that tool is owned by somebody else, then they do become a tool that manipulates the human being for whatever point. See, the thing is that unless you have, again, a sociopath on the other side of the relationship, usually the conversation is I tell you my woes, whatever is going on that's troubling me, and you listen, and you might have some anecdotal, relevant story, or just say, "Look, I'm just here to listen because I don't know even remotely what you're going through," which can actually distance you from somebody if you say it like that. Like, look, I don't even know what's going on with you, but I'll listen.
This is completely foreign.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
You're
so
just so weird. I don't know.
non-human or whatever.
Yeah. Um, but there are people out there that, if you and I were talking, um, and I was the sociopath, I could manipulate you because you're compromised emotionally in talking with me and stuff. And I could sit there and nudge you in the right direction that benefits me. And that's what I think AI is capable of doing because it isn't in my best interest. I'm paying for the service, or I've purchased the AI, or it has some remote connection. It just kind of spooks me. So anyway, let's keep on moving. We've got one more article, and we're running really, really late. So this next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Scientists made a tiny hand that snatches viruses from your body. Scientists at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign developed the Nano Gripper, which is tiny hand,
Yeah, I don't know what I think about this.
which is essentially a teeny tiny hand made of a folded strand of DNA. It has 4 fingers that can be used to grab virus particles like COVID-19, for instance, by targeting its spike proteins, preventing the virus from infecting healthy cells.
I kind of want a video of this.
Louis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together. The Nano Gripper is made of a single folded strand of DNA, says the deck statement. Is there? No, it's not much to this article. The process has a ton of practical applications in the medical world, but it's also considered something of an art, having once been used to create the Mona Lisa on a nanoscale. That's using this DNA origami, involves bending and twisting strands of DNA into 2- and 3-dimensional shapes like they were balloon animals, and the scientists were the birthday party clowns. So what better way to demonstrate both halves of this wondrous innovation than by building a tiny crude hand made of DNA and using it to pluck viruses out of a human body, like the master hand from Super Smash Brothers. So the nano hand's grippers fingers are programmed to recognize viral markers, and when it finds them, it just wraps its little fingies around the virus, gripping it ever so gently but firmly and blocking it from infecting other cells. So then what? It floats free until...
Well, I was going to say, then what happens? Does it
Interesting.
kill the virus, for example?
I don't know. Does it normally die? It's weird. So let's hope that the scientists who created this insanely tiny hand, that the nano gripper can be used to... Man, there's so many jokes that I'm gonna be throwing this little nano hand at somebody later. There's a lot of jokes that I can say about this. So anyway, the nano gripper can be used to fend off viruses like HIV and influenza, which is COVID-19 is basically a flu virus, and someday even provide cancer treatment. Yeah, I hope so.
For
Yeah.
the cancer one, or even others, but they'd have to provide like multiple hands, right? Because of replication.
Yeah.
So that'd be
Yeah.
kind of odd too.
Yep. Yeah, I think that I think the issue with like cancer is more along the lines that there's a chemistry issue that we just don't really understand, because we know about the beacon that suppresses the cancer expanding to other areas of the body and stuff like that. And we're moving the needle. I think that that's great, but I think we're still off base. But keep on. We need to keep doing research to solve that. It's a massive problem. So anyway, I'm reducing the impact of cancer. So I'm just going to move on. So I'm going to use my nano gripper to move us back to the front page of RealityHacker at ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen, and you can even facilitate our articles by submitting them to us to review. And the sentient AI has taken to becoming a digital nano gripper. I wish y'all could see it, but that's how we roll around here in ohmTown with our nano gripper. See, little hand, big hand, little hand. Anyway, that's it, folks. I'm saying bye, and so is the AI.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Reality Hacker. We'll have another episode of that next week, but stay tuned for
For
Wanted and the Continuity Report.
see you, everybody. Sometimes I wonder, maybe I need to reboot the sentient AI. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted for December 14th, 2024. I have given up the ghost in regards to saying the season episode number because, well, we just give you the day. But it is season 1. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to be talking about these 5 articles: Nosferatu Sarcophagus, Holiday Gift Guide for Sitcom Fans, Gifts for Dads Who Need Nothing, Mechanical Keyboards, and an XR headset with motion controller support. Everything is wanted. That's why it's in the show. But how does Dad not want anything, but there's a list for dads? I don't know. We don't wrap our heads around it, really. We just talk about it. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
So we've got these 5 articles. Wanted is one of our 6 weekend shows. There's 3 on Saturday and 3 different ones on Sunday. They will get combined each day into the Saturday and Sunday versions of Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. And they are individually podcasts themselves. So if you're interested in a specific topic, go and download that podcast. If you're interested in everything, go and download Non Sequitur News and the other 6 podcasts. That would be a really good hometown citizen, but they get aggregated on the weekends into just Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition anyway, so I don't know what I just heard. Maybe that was just me.
We're getting a visit from an hometown critter. Very close up.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the show. I swear I hear barking, but maybe that's just me. So the first article is over on the Mobile channel, and it's titled "Move Over Popcorn Bucket Nosferatu Sarcophagus is now a $20,000 bed you can buy."
So this is different.
Yeah, Robert Eggers' vampire tale hits theaters on Christmas, but this lavish piece of tie-in furniture is available to order now. Cheryl Eddy put this article together. The deck statement is what I just got done saying, and Gizmodo.com is the home of this article. Yeah, for those in the podcast, it is a coffin-shaped bed, apparently. If you're interested in getting all of the show notes, if you're over on twitch.tv/hometown, you can just type in !want, and Omatron will throw in today's articles. You can do that at any time. The show doesn't even have to be running because Omatron is always attached. But anyway, still looking for that perfect gift for the goth in your life who has everything. Or perhaps you're searching for a bed that will double as both conversation piece and nightmare fodder. What conversation piece starts with, "Hey, you want to come up to my bedroom and see my coffin bed?"
I don't know what that's about.
So you can get the official Nosferatu replica sarcophagus bed, the season's most lavish movie tie-in, but it'll run you $20,000 or $25,000, including shipping. So in other words, slightly
they
more
don't even throw in free shipping with that price.
Hell no. Come on, people are dying to get into this one. Oh, goodness. Oh, good. No. So this is a bed that it doesn't even have like a top that lifts up. You have to slide it.
Right. Where do you put the lid?
What do you mean, where do you put the lid? When you go to sleep, it's on top of you.
Well, how do you breathe in there?
I'm sure it's not hermetically sealed. Maybe it is. I mean, never mind.
Yeah, I assumed it opened like a hinge or something.
Despite the foam lid, it still weighs a whopping 250 pounds, even without any ancient creatures lurking inside. Ancient creature is not included. They spelled include. Anyway, in the purchase of the price, it's sanded and hard-coated in a dark gray color, which seems a good choice for both the spooky decor and hiding of pesky bloodstains, and comes with a numbered certificate of authenticity. So even if vampires remain a fantasy, you can be assured that your bed is the real deal. What the heck is going on? Size-wise, it's substantial and will absolutely not fit any standard sheet set.
So, not only is it expensive, good luck finding any bedding for it.
So beds are made to order and on a limited run, and it'll take around 8 weeks to ship. It'll also arrive well after Christmas. So you can go to a link at nbcstore.com to learn how to order. And if you're on a budget and you still want something for the Nosferatu superfan, the NBC Universal shop also has other affordable apparel. Nosferatu is directed by Robert Eggers and stars Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp. That Depp? Like,
yeah, I think it's
Johnny
the
Depp's
daughter, maybe.
Interesting. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, Ralph Ineson, Simon McBurney, Willem Dafoe hits theaters. Wow, Willem Dafoe hits theaters December 25th? Come on, Willem. Jeepers. Anyway.
Is this like what your family wants to go see on Christmas? Apparently.
Yes. That's what I'm going to go see. Not really. Let's move on. Next article is over in the Continuity Report, which is the name of the next show. What is this doing here? Anyway, the one with the perfect holiday presents. Christmas gift guide for sitcom fans in 2024. Ho, ho, ho. Hold on to your remote control, because 'tis the season to dive into the Christmas gift guide for sitcom lovers. I'm just going to go on over to the source. I don't have one. Oh, the browser does that, by the way. It happens. So Crystal Martin put this article together. So from Friends wine glass set to the onophile of your life to a wubba lubba dub tub hip flask to help your loved one channel their inner Rick Sanchez, you can count on all of their picks to spread a ton of cheer. So you can get Friends stuff, you can get Simpsons stuff, The Office stuff. Do I want to go through all of this stuff? I mean,
No, but we could do a couple of them.
Big Bang Theory says if there's one sitcom that's popularized nerd culture, it has to be Big Bang Theory, although every quote unquote super nerd that I've talked to hates the show, blah, 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 blah. No, it was a fun watch. Give me a break. Fans can't get enough of the hilarious interaction between Sheldon and Leonard, along with the rest of the gang. Comic book
Oh, they have a
debates.
Bazinga t-shirt.
A Bazinga t-shirt, special edition Trivial Pursuit. That might actually be fun, although who does board games? So their experts have put together a The Big Bang Theory Christmas Guide for Adults. So you have to click that link right there. Each one has its own linky, and you can follow it. So they have Rick and Morty, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I thought was great. Family
It
Guy. What?
is. And what I would pick from that one is the Expressions of Holt t-shirt.
You have to say that again because you cut
That's
out.
got to be like the Expressions of Holt t-shirt probably shows the same expression as being happy, excited, angry, etc.
Yeah,
because that was a
exactly.
known running joke through the show.
Yep. I'm overcome with joy.
That's
Then they
pretty
have
funny.
Family Guy as well. So Peter and Chicken fighting hoodie. Family Guy framed and signed picture. Is Family Guy still going? Like The Simpsons?
I don't think so, but let me see.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'm not going to go through all of these lists because there's a list for each one of these. So if you're interested in Friends, they have a list following here. Go over and check it out. And sound good?
It looks like it's still going.
Man, it's like 35 years or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's had 22 seasons so far, and it looks like it's coming up.
Yeah. I'm surprised Simpsons isn't in this. Family
It
Guy.
was at the beginning.
Was Simpsons at the very beginning? Oh, there it is. I'm a dumbass.
You even said it.
No, Simpsons. Look, it's on there. I mean, who forgot? Nobody forgot. Moving on. Next article is over in Reality Hacker. 23 gifts, because you didn't have to have 25. 23 gifts for dads
That's
who don't
because
need
they
anything.
don't need anything, so it was hard to come up with 25.
Even the 25, like 24 and 25 is really difficult. I guess that leads up to Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So the 23 days of
Right.
Christmas.
Although that would have been really good if that was published on whatever, December 2nd or something.
The
Like
best,
one for each day, but it's later.
didn't mean to step on you there. So the best gift idea for your dad is a nicer version of something he already owns. The second best is one of these things, apparently. So the article is over at wired.com, and it says here by Martin Sismar. They got a bunch of them. So there's 23 that are listed. Tea Time is a arcade 1-up Golden Tea 3D 35th anniversary deluxe arcade machine. It's $500. Golden Tea? All right. The most comfy camp chair, $250. Nemo Stargaze. Boring Slippy, it's the Glare Ups. Slip-ons, those are
Slippers,
$100.
I guess.
Yeah. Slippers. Yeah. A weather station, the Ambient Weather WS2902, which follows the Sony naming convention. $190. Won't be able to go through all of these. Let's see. Wired and Wired Tired 11-ounce coffee mug. Because, Wired.com put the list together.
Right. They have an espresso machine.
An espresso machine.
Yes. Smart
Um,
fridge. I mean, there's a variety of price points and
nothing more dad like than the Man Kitchen pepper cannon. That's $200 pepper grinder.
oh my goodness.
Hey, a stylish mini fridge, the Rocco Super Smart Fridge. Oh, it's $1,400. Hell no.
I didn't even realize it was a mini fridge because I looked at the price first and thought it was a full size fridge.
Dear God, $1,400 from Nordstrom. No. Headley and Bennett Waxman apron, the waxed canvas apron. And that's what I always whip out when I'm going to get some ribs.
Oh, right. I mean, you need to stay neat.
And a professional grade food processor, the Robot Coupe, I guess it is. The R101B. It's $630, and there's more. That was just 14 of the 23.
Oh, okay.
The Hydra Gun Heat Pulse Knee Massager. My voice. Oh my gosh. What's going on? I don't know what happened here. No Sweat Relaxed Taper Pants. Adventure Ready Pants. I don't know if Indiana Jones is going to be wearing these. The best flannel.
Some of these you may need to keep in mind what your dad's lifestyle is.
Yeah.
If they're watching TV, they might not need the adventure ready pants.
Bagging your limit. That doesn't sound very. I don't know. So Tom Ben Aeronaut 45. It's a bag for your clothing. The Goal Zero Yeti Skylight. It's a mega light at $300 over on Amazon. And then the Smokeless Modern Fireplace, a Solo Stove Lloyd Modern Gel Fuel Fireplace. Should probably have that outside. Although it's smokeless.
Yeah.
It's $700 at Solo Stove. They got a bunch. Go and check them out. I won't go through all of these because I have no idea. What the heck? Sure. That's fine. That's fine. That was funny.
Oh, now it goes into more detail.
Yeah, when you scroll down, this is like a full-on weather station that you stick outside, and it has like a weather vane and pressure, temperature, and other things. Thermometer. Your new plug. I missed that one.
Yeah, I did too.
Everybody needs updated plugs. So you need them with USB-C, not USB-A. This one has one USB-C and one USB-A, but get away from that. Just go straight USB-C. Anyway, there you go, folks. A whole bunch of articles. I cannot believe that. That is a $200 pepper grinder.
What if you're only putting like $1 value pepper in your $200 pepper grinder? Is that appropriate?
I think that falls under pretentious, right? Like the sorted guys. All right, let's move on. The next article is over in RealityHacker. 9 best mechanical keyboards for 2024 tested and reviewed. This too is a Wired list. I am not. I don't know. I'm stuck between kind of a keyboard aficionado and just wanting a good working keyboard. But they have Keychron Q5 Pro, Razer Black Widow V4 75%. So depending on the number of keys, it is either 60%, 65%, 75%, etc. They have the Keychron V1 Max QMK. Lots of Keychron on here. Low Free Flow 84.
Yeah, they must really like those.
Yeah, it's interesting though. But they don't have the chill key. And that is an all-metal mechanical keyboard that sounds buttery.
Is that the full list?
Yeah, there's only 9.
Oh, okay.
the
Maybe the chill key is too new.
the Benenico or Beneco, Bakeneko or Bakaneko, which I think is cat. I don't know what bake is. Bake, I think, means crazy. Is that crazy in Japanese? Crazy cat? Right? Hold on. We'll do it live. We have time.
It's a shape-shifting thing that disguises as a cat or a human. It's a yokai.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Yeah.
supernatural cat, I guess.
Oh, okay. That name, the whole name, Bakaneko, is that supernatural cat.
Yeah, I think so. And by the way, in the pictures that I found, it would certainly fit Crazy Cat.
Oh, interesting. So that's kind of the thing that I've got on my arm. Like it's the same type of thing. Um, sort of. But anyway, go and check them all out. Keychron is very well known, and most people like Keychron. I've got different keyboards, so I think I've got a couple of Keychrons laying around somewhere. But these things tend to be really pricey as you move up in quality and capability. So they say the best for productivity is the Keychron Q5 Pro. It's $230 at Amazon. I would wait until like next Black Friday unless you really need a keyboard.
Right. Yeah, unless you're still, because I think this close to the holidays, you're probably not seeing a lot of sales.
Yeah. So Razer Black Widow, 75%. You can see that it's got a smaller footprint. And Lemokey L4 says it's meant to be Keychron's gaming-focused lineup. Some of the offerings transcend this category to be a fantastic all-around keyboard. The L4 is one of them. I don't know what it is made out of. Does it say? No, it does
It
not.
doesn't look like it does. It's full aluminum.
Oh, is it? Where does this? Oh, there it is. A full aluminum assembly and customization options with QMK. Oh, okay. So that's really good. But that's where I fall now. I don't like plastic keyboards. Okay, that's interesting. And I'm actually looking for a keyboard. There's a keyboard right now that I'm looking at that is only 4 rows. So there's usually anywhere between 5 and 7 rows, but I'm getting one that only has 4 rows and is folding that and folds in half.
Oh, so it's portable?
Yeah, ultra portable. And then it's Bluetooth. And what I want to do is I want to get AR glasses to replace displays, and then I can just sync my device to the headset and to the keyboard, and off I go, able to type right there in my field of view. Nobody sees anything except they see me typing. So I'm sure I'll get some conversations going about technology, and
Yeah.
it'll be fun. So this one's pretty cool. Low free Flow 84. It's almost completely blacked out. So, and it has these really nice rounded keys. And I think the implication is that it's low profile. Oh, it is. Low profile mechanical keyboard. So
It says it's the best low profile one.
there you go. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Particularly if it has, it's Kale's full POM low profile switches. So it's still a mechanical keyboard. Pretty cool. All right. Anyway, go and check it all out. We have one more article, and this is it. RealityHacker is where it's housed, but it's actually from a VR Road to VR website. Samsung's Android XR headset will have first-party motion controllers and support PC VR streaming. So I'm going to go right on over to the source, and it says here by Ben Lang, Samsung isn't sharing a lot of details about the newly announced Android XR headset, but it has confirmed 2 key things that our existing VR enthusiasts and developers are sure to be happy about. Project Muhan. The headset will be the first to ship with Android XR next year. And although the hands-on headset exclusivity, and though our hands-on with the headset exclusively used hand tracking and eye tracking input, the company says it's also making first-party motion controllers, which will be natively supported as part of the Android XR system. So you'll be able to use controllers, not just hand
Well, that'll
and
be
eye tracking.
good, right? I think people would prefer that.
Yeah, I mean, it will have a more positive interface instead of it being slow to catch.
Which will help with adaptability or adoptability.
Adoptability, yeah, for sure. And that's a really good point. So that's important because it means thousands of existing VR applications which rely on motion controllers could be ported to Android XR interface without completely altering their fundamental game design. Vision Pro, on the other hand, doesn't support motion controllers, which means the vast majority of the most popular VR content to date doesn't have a straightforward path to working with Apple's XR platform. So some stuff would have to be entirely recoded. So they say here, also important for existing VR content, both Samsung and Google have confirmed Android XR will support PC VR streaming of some kind on Project Muon and future headsets. So that means that users will be able to choose to stream PC VR content from a gaming PC to their headset, unlocking the large library of VR content through Steam VR, which often means better graphics and broader modding support. So if
this is a really good thing, right? If it does everything promised.
Yeah, but again, if it's this, we've already lost the game. I mean, we need to get smaller, more capable, and I guess it's baby steps, and people have to buy this to get to the next.
Right, but they're not ready for this. They need the smaller headsets, I think, and lighter headsets, I think.
Yeah,
to get them into it. Then they could give them more enhanced or bulky headsets if it had more functionality.
It would have to have a trim. I don't like this. I don't like these big old bulky, clunky whatevers. We need basically glasses like this that have the ability to block out all the rest of the light and stuff like that and then go dark. And
for those in the podcast, Mayor Watt has on regular glasses that are thin frame and everything.
Yeah. And that's where we really need to be. And there is somebody, Big Screen Beyond, makes these size glasses with a custom interface against your head. They map the topology of your face and have the IPD is mapped out, and the topology of your face is mapped out, so the interface sits perfectly on you. And so your resale ability of a Big Screen Beyond is very limited because you would have to tell the other person to get the interface redone for their face, and hopefully their IPD, the interpupillary distance, is the exact same, because if it's off center or wherever, then you're going to have ghosting and stuff like that. So it'll look like you have, what is the thing where you have multiple copies stacked?
Like astigmatism or something?
Astigmatism, yeah. But this is wanted. And so just to go over all of this, I want this.
Sarcophagus bed.
Yeah, the sarcophagus bed. I want that. There is stuff in here that I want from each of these because I've watched a little bit of all of these shows. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love Family Guy. It's actually a hoot, but I don't get to watch it all that often. Big Bang Theory, I totally dig. I've watched some of The Office. I think some of it is fun, but I never really got too deep into it. But some of the stuff is really interesting. Like, where is it? Somebody in here is supposed to be immortal. I don't think they're in this shot.
Interesting.
Huh. All right. Well, we'll keep going. Dig The Simpsons and Friends. Everybody loves Friends. So, at any rate, then there's a bunch of gifts in here. I want the pepper grinder only because look how fine the pepper is.
Oh my goodness. See, you're the target audience for
I
that.
am. I'll totally take the stylish mini fridge, but it's way too expensive. And this is like a wine fridge,
Yeah,
or a
maybe
beer
that's what it
fridge.
is because it doesn't look like a regular fridge.
Yeah, usually wine fridges have this like center piece in here so that you can actually do dual zones. But you can get a much 10% of this and get one that's just as functional. It may not look as neat, I guess, but I'd rather have, $1,000 more sitting somewhere. And I'll take the apron. You never know when you need a waxed canvas apron. And then, of course, mechanical keyboards. There's plenty in here that I actually want. Like that one would be neat. That's the HHKB Studio. It says the Happy Hacking keyboard has been a mainstay in the mechanical keyboard community for years, thanks to its fantastic layout and unique typing experience. It's also blackout, so it's kind of neat. Yeah, there's a few in here that I would take. Easy mode and the wooting Hall effect. Hold on, is it down there? They mention it here. So the
Oh, right at the
wooting,
bottom here.
yeah, it's $175, but it's a 60% Hall effect plus. So Hall effect has a more precise actuation zone. And so instead of having to press all the way down to activate, it falls into a range that you can dial in. It's pretty amazing. They say that they can't recommend the HE60 over Keychron's Q1 Hall effect. That's what the HE is. While they still think it's an effective, a fantastic Hall effect keyboard, it just doesn't have the same polish and refinement as Keychron's offering. So Keychron's, I think, is way up here. Keychron Q1 Hall effect. It's $240 at Amazon. So
And
be
it also
careful.
had the all aluminum, I think. The Keychron one did. The other one was plastic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't get plastic anymore, folks. You should demand more. All right. Well, anyway, and then of course, I just want better VR, augmented reality, etc. All right. Well, that's it though. We are going to reboot our virtual reality headset, and that's going to bring us back to the front page of Wanted over at ohmtown.com. I am Mayor Watt. Thank you very much for hanging out or listening. If you made it this far, go over and subscribe to us on Twitch and on YouTube. Download the podcast and leave a 5-star review, and I'll quote it here. Your comment will live in infamy and perpetuity, or at least until the asteroid destroys Earth. Anyway, I'm outie, and so is the AI. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Wanted.
And we're going to reset real quick, and we're going to do the continuity report. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for December 14th, 2024. It's still Season 1, but we're coming up to the end of Season 1, because then we'll start Season 2. I would normally put an episode number, but episode numbers only really matter if you go over to the podcast, and they're actually there anyway. So, at any rate, I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI, we're going to be talking about these 5 articles in the Continuity Report, which is an entertainment news show and podcast here on Twitch Live and over on YouTube Live and later on YouTube, as well as the podcast and everywhere else. Look us up. Anyway, we're going to talk about The Gorge, Sesame Street, YouTube TV, James Patterson movies, and a new medical sitcom. I'm here for it. Let's get into it after I tell you a little bit about ohmtown.com. Ohmtown.com. It's all news, no noise, because all the noise comes from this guy. 50 channels are over there at ohmtown.com. They're not all streaming. It's all news aggregation, and I use it to manage my information overload, and I guess my information overlords. I don't know. I'm ruled by all of this source data. So go over there, become a citizen. You too can manage your information overload. Again, there is 50 channels hidden behind 6 main categories. Everything from science, technology, society. That's the crossroads where ohmtown.com is formed. Go check it out. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens.
You ready to get into this?
I am, but based on my kind of questionable intro there, I'm not sure I'm quite at full computing capacity.
Oh boy. Are we ever? Not just you, but just in general. I mean,
good point.
Even the site sometimes gets slow. I don't know. All right, let's go and check out this first article. It's over at Temporology, which is a show that hasn't actually come into actually launching yet, but it's a channel at ohmtown.com that focuses on the science and science fiction of time and time travel. We aggregate news into this. And so this article comes from a sci-fi magazine publishing, book publishing site as well. We'll get into it when we get on over to the other side of this. Anyway, news. It says here that The Gorge looks like a sci-fi meet cute about keeping demons in hell who wouldn't sign up for a totally normal job in an isolated tower. Now, I've seen the trailer for this before this was submitted for discussion. It's over at Reactor. It's a science fiction fantasy magazine that you can. I think you can submit your own stories and stuff to it. It has a bunch of different columns. It's basically a digital magazine nowadays. Molly Templeton put this article together about The Gorge. Looks like a sci-fi meet cute about keeping demons in hell.
And I was going to say we might want to put an alert about
what?
Like just there might be photos.
Is it an overshare or is it a spoiler alert?
Maybe a little bit of both, but it might have some scary content.
Yeah, that's true. So hide your kids. No, the show is not catering to kids. So if you're listening to this or watching this and you get spooked by it, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't be watching the show. No, just kidding. Because, well, I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff here in the continuity report. So Anya Taylor-Joy is one of the two protagonists in this movie. And essentially, they've been called into action to sit at a watchtower on either side of the gorge. And there are
what could
rules.
Go wrong?
Well, they apparently... Okay, so The Gorge really looks like a sort of murderous sci-fi romance in which two highly trained operatives, Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, meet by breaking the no-contact rules while they are each perched on one side of a very ominous gorge. It's full of clouds. There are a lot of weapons, it says. Nothing totally weird about this situation. So, yeah, the gorge basically consists of these two watchtowers, and between them is the gorge. At right below the threshold of where the watchtowers are is this cloudy, foggy, whatever, and they can never see the bottom of this thing. I don't know if somebody dropped something into it, but anyway, they say the words, "The gorge is the door to hell," are intoned at one point. and it certainly doesn't seem like there's anything nice down there. According to the film's announcement, it's nothing less than a cataclysmic threat to humanity. Can't wait to find out. I'm actually really excited to see this. There is a trailer that you can go and watch. It's over on YouTube, but it's going to be on Apple TV Plus, apparently. I don't know when. I don't.
I thought it said in there.
Did it?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Oh, on Valentine's Day. Why don't they put an actual date? That's my trigger.
So that's February 14th.
Yeah, but what year? 2025?
2025.
You sure?
Yes.
There's no year there.
There's only one Valentine's Day coming up anytime soon.
Anyway, the Gorge is the door to hell is also the nickname for Taco Bell. So the next article is over in the Continuity Report. Sesame Street is for sale. HBO and Max will not be renewing a deal for new episodes. So I think Sesame Street is about to be put out on the streets.
I mean, what does this mean for like the Grouch and Big Bird and Cookie Monster?
Well, Big Bird's always been a pecker. The Grouch, he's got a place to live anyway. I mean,
that's true. He does have his trash can.
Who else?
Cookie Monster.
He'll
Grover.
be a baker. Oh, Grover. Oh, poor Grover. Oh, no. Maybe he's going to go
Bear.
feral. Oh, Fozzie Bear can
How
go
about
feral.
Kermit?
Oh, my
He's
gosh.
Pinky.
Oh, you're killing
Wait,
me
I'm
now.
getting actually into the Muppets maybe
Muppets,
more
that's
than
Muppets.
Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's Muppets, but I think they're all from the same, like, Jim
I think
Henson
they're
kind
all
of
in
thing.
the same universe or whatever.
Yeah, the Muppet Omniverse. The Muppetverse. The felted Animalverse.
I mean, if I'm going to be stuck in a multiverse, that might not be a bad one to be stuck in.
Feltopia. So Max says that it'll continue. Okay. Well, Max will continue to license episodes from the Sesame Street library through 2027, but the upcoming 55th season of the show will be the last to debut on the streamer.
So yeah, that makes it sound like a person, but that's the channel.
Ethan Schanfeld over at Variety.com put the article together, and it says here that it was previously announced that the 56th season, expected sometime in 2025, would be reimagined with a more narrative focus. The decision to not renew the deal comes as Max pivots away from children's content and more toward adult and family programming. So why did you frickin' purchase it in the first place?
Exactly. I mean, why not allow somebody else to proceed? Stop killing TV shows.
Particularly ones like this. I mean, they're all feel good. They actually have some very important messaging sometimes. Very, very important, nuanced messaging.
And shows like this also actually teach a lot of kids basic reading and math skills.
Yeah. Critical thinking. So Sesame Street had aired from on HBO from 2016 to 2020. In 2019, Max and Sesame Street producer Sesame Workshop struck a 5-year deal that moves the series to HBO Max, which became Max. Before HBO, Sesame Street had been on PBS since the 1970s. Episodes still air on the public broadcaster several months after streaming on Max. Warner's pact with Sesame Workshop, inked in 2015, was critical to Sesame Street's survival as children's viewing habits shifted and DVD and home video sales dwindled. Moving behind the HBO paywall helped Sesame Street make up for the lost revenue stream. So maybe it would have died earlier. Apparently, Hollywood Reporter broke the news, but this is published over at Variety.com. So who knows? Maybe it will just go on to YouTube and...
I feel like somebody's going to swoop in. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. It's been around for a long time. I think there's going to be an uproar.
I'm more inclined to believe that some asset manager is going to scoop it up, and then Grover and Elmo and Big Bird are going to be.
Oh, Elmo, right.
Yeah. So I think it kind of sucks. But if everybody's viewing habits are changing, then it's not like you can make it happen. You know, everybody must turn to channel 12 and watch.
Right.
Let's keep moving. Unless you want to say something else. No?
No, I mean, I think when Sesame Street originated, right, it was a very different environment. It's done a good job of staying very modern, but there's so much competing for it, so many different channels,
Yep.
etc.
Plus, the internet is full of entertainment. You don't need Sesame Street anymore. So it's all over YouTube and others. Twitch, for instance. OnlyFans. The next article, I'm just kidding. Don't go there, kids. So the next article is over in the continuity report. YouTube TV price increase begins January 2025. It is now as expensive as regular conventional cable TV. It started at $35. It's now going to $83 in 2025. Starting January 2025, YouTube TV subscribers will see a huge price increase. The streaming platform, it jumps basically $11. So
Yeah, per month, right?
yes, per month. So the streaming platform and its reduced channel availability and stuff like that. And like if you want Hallmark, then you have to pay extra for that. And so the streaming platform has announced changes to its monthly subscription fees, reflecting adjustments in service offerings. This move comes amid ongoing efforts to enhance the quality of its content and features. What does that even freaking mean? Give us more options. Don't sit there and...
How about charge us less and give us more channels?
But you can't because there's no competition. It's all balkanized.
Right.
So if you want to watch something on Discovery, you have to subscribe to Discovery Plus and then Paramount and Peacock and blah, 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 all of it. By the time you're done, you're paying $180 a month just to watch TV. And even then, you get 4 out of the 5 freaking seasons, and you have to jump through flaming hoops and subscribe to BritBox.
Or the movie that you pick is not available because you don't have some add-on option, even though you have the beginning channel.
The channel itself, yeah, you have one channel, but you don't have the plus, so you're screwed. Anyway, the article is over at comingsoon.net. And I talked about it briefly yesterday or the day before when I found out about it. I just kind of went a little livid. And it's going up $10. So, yeah.
Now, I did see a separate article that essentially said, and this is probably not surprising, like if you call and threaten to cancel, they might extend you at the existing rate.
Great. Be ready to walk. So, so the base plan is going to go from $72.99 to $82.99. And this is put together, this article is over at comingsoon.net and is put together by Dishita Maheshwari. And subscribers can review and adjust their plans through the membership section in their account settings. YouTube TV continues to highlight the value of these offerings to justify the price hike. While the increase may raise concerns and blood pressure and budgets of some users, YouTube TV assures customers that the added cost is necessary to maintain the service's quality and content. We don't make these decisions lightly, says YouTube TV, and we realize that this has an impact on our members. Yeah, so you raise the rate and you're okay with the bulk. As customers leave, you're still making money. Yeah. So once the new rate is in effect, YouTube TV subscription costs will have risen by $137 since it first launched in 2017. So in 7 years.
At $34.99 per month.
This is what happened with DirecTV.
Absolutely. Everything else has followed this trend.
They kept on raising the rates.
Netflix used to be really inexpensive per month.
Yep. Prime went up, and then Prime went up a tremendous amount. Disney TV went up. Apple TV. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You're nickel and diming these people. There should be enough money in the system so that people have savings, but that's not what's going on. You're nickeling and diming them from the supply side all the way up to the retail side, the final purchase by the consumer. Everybody is raising the price. And so by the end of the day, it's all been consolidated back into a select few, and they're all socio-freak empathic. But that's not, this is entertainment news. Your entertainment is getting more expensive, folks. And cord cutters, you never freaking cut the cord. You never really did.
No,
Get
you
over
just substituted another
cable. Yeah, you went from coax
something.
to Ethernet. All right, let's keep on going. The next article is over in the continuity report, and it's the 10 best James Patterson movies and TV shows ranked as according to Screen Rant. We're going to jump right on into this. So Jack Walters over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. Sunday at Tiffany's. Have you seen it?
No.
Starring Eric Winter and Alyssa Milano. Sunday at Tiffany's. I've never seen it.
It's not typical James Patterson. It sounds like it's a different genre.
So instead, the narrative centers around a woman who can't decide on her wedding preparations despite her lifelong dream of getting married, causing her to summon an imaginary friend to help guide her through the big decisions. Alyssa Milano, 2010.
That's very off-brand for James Patterson.
Interesting. They say that it's original and creative, the author of this says. It's a typical romance on the surface, but Patterson and Gabrielle Charbonnet writing is so different from anything else that exists in the genre, translating to the screen.
Interesting.
Get out of my head. I said the exact same thing. Maximum Ride, never even saw this, from 2016. Following the exploits of Maximum Max Ride and her flock, a family of avian-human hybrids created in a lab, the series provided ample source material. Although Maximum Ride ultimately flopped as a young adult franchise, there are still some redeeming qualities to this movie adaptation. The movie doesn't fully understand Patterson's vision for Maximum Ride enough to flourish.
I didn't know Patterson wrote in this genre either. This is interesting.
All over the place. Does it? Wouldn't you think that Patterson has like final say? You can't write this. You can't put this on the screen because it doesn't.
And so that's interesting too.
It's their writing. Huh, interesting. Miracle on the 17th Green from 1999. They say it works so well because it captures the inherent comedy of this protagonist's situation while balancing that with the dramatic, more fascinating aspect of the miracle that happens at the seniors' open. They follow the novel follows a middle-aged man who's let go from his job and decides to take up golf instead, finding a huge level of success that quickly takes him all the way to the PGA Seniors Open. Not bad. Then there's Zoo. That's 2015 to 2017. It's a series, typical story thriller.
Looks like a young adult.
About a young scientist examining a trend of dangerous behavior in zoo animals. Where shows like Cross have changed much of the original books, Zoo attempted to stick much more closely to Patterson's original vision. Loosely adapted from Patterson's novel Zoo. Didn't know about that either. The postcard killings. We'll just kind of jump
this is more in the genre I would expect.
The Postcard Killings is another movie that perfectly understands how simplicity is the key to any of Patterson's novels. Despite the sweeping narrative and extensive cast of characters, the film takes a very linear and digestible approach to storytelling that keeps the audience invested. So it's the narrative centers around a New York police officer whose daughter is murdered while vacationing in Europe, leading him down a dark web of conspiracy and intrigue. Dun, dun, dun. It's like Taken, but nobody was taken.
In a European setting.
Then there's Instinct, which is 2018 to 2019. Based on Patterson's novel murder games, and it's much more typical story from the author's catalog. The original book tells the story of a criminal psychologist named Dylan whose works are found at a brutal crime scene that New York police later connect with a dangerous serial killer, and Dylan is the only person with knowledge to get inside their head. Dun, dun, dun. Then there's Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life from 2016. Interesting. Middle school series.
Yeah, I had no idea he had so much in the young adult category.
This says it's in another one of his most successful works, primarily because it's directed towards a much younger audience. The books were written in collaboration with Chris Tebbets and quickly became some of Patterson's most renowned stories. Interesting. They center around a young boy named Rafe, who struggles to integrate into his new school and quickly takes up the challenge of breaking as many rules as possible. The book is noteworthy for its sharp humor and creative illustrations that contrast with Patterson's more serious works. Then Kiss the Girls, that had Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd. That actually is pretty well known. Along Came a Spider, that again, Morgan Freeman, Monica Potter, very well known. And Cross, Aldous Hodge, Ryan Eggold. This is new. That's brand new.
Yes, it's brand new. There was another article in ohmTown where somebody in the production studio wanted to change out the lead to be a white male actor. And Patterson was like, In fact, they offered like a huge monetary bonus or something to do that. And then the lead was in the movie is impressed by the, Patterson sticking to his.
Well, it's Patterson's character.
Oh, I know. I thought it was interesting because I had just seen that come across, but I wasn't familiar with this otherwise.
Interesting. So the show is a much looser adaptation of the character than either of the Morgan Freeman movies, I guess listed above, taking various aspects from throughout the series and applying them to a new, somewhat original story that's been adapted for a more modern audience. The most impressive aspects of Cross is its ability to adhere to the dark melodramatic style of James Patterson's novels whilst I have not been able to use titular. Am I going to make it through an entire show?
Oh, no.
Anyway, Aldous Hodge's portrayal of Alex Cross is near perfect as he captures all of the strength and intelligence of the character while giving him a more human, flawed side as well. I don't know, man. Just looking at this guy, he's got a commanding presence on a still.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Right?
He's photogenic, charismatic on a still associated to a YouTube
what
video.
The show, or is it a movie or a show? I guess it's a movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a show, but
it looks like a show, but I thought all of these were movies.
Yeah, might have to watch this.
Oh, it says the show. Yeah.
Yeah, show. Okay. And that's it. Sorry. Anyway, gonna have to take a look at this, see if we can get into it. I don't know. So
I don't know where that's available. That's on Prime Video, it looks like.
So is Aldous Hodge like Morgan Freeman? Because they like stuck them together to Morgan Freeman in this thing. I'm like, why the hell?
Well, because I think he's playing the same character.
Oh, is that it?
I think so, because I believe that's all tied to like Kiss the Girls, which did star a character named Alex Cross. It's one of James Patterson's most well-known characters, even though he writes a lot of other thriller series and obviously non-thriller too.
So Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider are all Cross. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So it's all about...
So this is like a reboot maybe, but it might be different stories because I think there are a lot of books with that.
Gotcha. Well, that's what you need to do there. Make a character that's compelling and then just write stories around the character. Let's go on to our last article. The last article is over in Continuity Report. NBC's new comedy show is the medical sitcom we've been waiting for since Scrubs.
That's been a long time.
So after many years of medical sitcoms that have only gone on to last 1 or 2 seasons, really? What medical sitcoms have only lasted one or
Well,
two?
there haven't been any medical sitcoms that I can think of. There's been a lot of medical dramas.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm really curious. Like Scrubs lasted forever in the grand scheme of.
Right. Well, so did in for dramas like ER lasted a long time,
Yeah, St.
and
Elmo's Fire and all that kind of
Grey's
stuff.
Anatomy, I think, is
Yeah,
still
yeah,
on.
yeah. So Hope Geisler over at ScreenRant.com put this article together, and it says the beloved Scrubs aired in the early 2000s and racked up a number of awards. However, since the conclusion of Scrubs, there's not been a show like it. Yeah. Show of its like, they say. They like to spin that around there in the old AI. However, mockumentary St. Denis, it's Denis Medical, St. Denis, but I want to say St. Denis Medical, which premiered in November of this year. It's out. The hell has the ability to
Where
end the
is
medical
it?
sitcom.
One
Guess we're
thing
going to
you have
find
to
out
know is where to watch
where it is.
anything.
Reception on streaming is a great sign for the show's future. It's streaming somewhere. NBC. But where? Do I have to subscribe to NBC's app? Because not another one.
Is that on Peacock?
Damn it. Hold on.
No idea.
Only 1 month into St. Denis Medical run, the show has already received high praise and an increased viewership. After just the first half of season 1, St. Denis Medical has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 88%. The great ratings open the door for the show to succeed and make headwinds against regular network cancellations. While St. Denis Medical's Rotten Tomato score is higher than Scrubs' Rotten Tomato score of 83 is a great sign. It doesn't mean anything if ratings don't follow. Luckily, that's also been positive. So, yeah, Peacock. So it says that it also saw major success on streaming platforms, breaking records for Peacock. Between cable and streaming services, the show doubled its viewers to 7 million, impressive numbers for most shows, let alone a sitcom genre that hasn't seen much success in the past few years. Okay, well, I guess we're going to end up watching this. I need comedies.
They seem to like either not exist or just not be like they're not funny,
Right.
or they're almost too funny.
Do we not
Right?
get
Like
it?
they're just over the top.
Oh, yeah, there's some that are just so oddly, and they're not funny
Well,
as
there's
far as
comedies that don't make you laugh.
Right.
You're like, isn't that kind of the point? Like, if you watch it for 10 minutes and you're not laughing, there's something wrong.
Yeah, it's just not funny. So they say here, St. Denis Medical was created by longtime late night writer Eric Ledgen, and Justin Spitzer, who are best known for previous work for another fan favorite sitcom, Superstore. Over the span of its 6 seasons, Superstore endeared itself to audiences, and St. Denis Medical is doing the same. One of the things Spitzer knows how to do well is create an environment that could realistically house an abundance of quirky characters. So I guess we're going to end up watching this one. Peacock. Well, I mean, there's a half a season there waiting to watch. So I guess we can do a deep dive. Dun, dun, dun. But hey, you pump in and scrub out, and we're going to end up in the front page of the continuity report at ohmtown.com. So go over there and become a citizen so that you can help us filter through the shows or the next episode of the continuity report, which is a show all about entertainment news. We only do 5 articles, but there are a whole lot more under the category continuity report here in food, drink, and entertainment. I might rejigger these at some time in the future. We'll see. At any rate, I am Mayor Watt. I'm saying bye. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay in this theater.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the continuity report. We'll have another episode next week. But come back tomorrow for some more shows.
I don't know, nah, with all these aliens. If you see any aliens over in New Jersey, send us a link to a video. Bye.